Hi everyone, today's live is all about the soft food stage after weight loss surgery. And I'm just going to introduce the topic as people start jumping on. The soft food stage is a very standard stage that everyone generally will be given advice to go on to. Different bariatric centres across the world have different guidelines and they might call it different numbers. So sometimes people say to me, stage 1, stage 2, and those kind of numbers. But soft food stage, many people feel, this is from me working over 6 years now in the area of bariatrics. Many people feel when they are given their dietary stages after their weight loss surgery, that they are going to move through their fluid stage, then they'll move often onto a puree, but like a baby food texture stage, then they're soft, and then it'll be a full diet, and then they're off. Normal foods, any kind of texture, and all of that kind of, those past stages are in the past. Well, the reality is that your tummy and your new gastrointestinal tract likes soft food. It likes softer, moister food. So I'm going to be talking today about 3 tips that you can use to help with the soft food stage. But you can use them to help you move forward and get more variety in your diet. So even when you're told you can be on a full diet, you're going to find that softer, moister food goes down better and settles better for some time. And you can slowly try some of those foods that are placed in that full diet stage. And that is like things like some vegetables with skins on, but you're going to find majority of your food is still going to be softer. So I want to talk about some tips, some ways to really kind of use this or work in this soft food stage and help you move forward, but also embracing the benefits of softer, moister food. This is number 1. A really good guide for the soft food stage is that your fork can go nice and easily through the food. So that might be very easy for things like maybe a cooked fish and foods that naturally, that when you cook them, how you would normally cook them, your fork can go through them nicely. What you may want to look at is some things like the vegetables and even some whole grains. You want to make sure you cook them really well to be able to put your fork through them nice and easily. So cooking your vegetables often a bit further than you normally would. So a nice guide, as I'm saying, for number 1, to know if it's if it's that right texture for the soft food stage is, can you easily put your fork through them? Through the food. Anyone that's on, if you don't know, I love questions and comments. And if anyone that's on that's in the soft food stage or in those early to medium days after their weight loss surgery, I'd love you to say hello. And if you've got any questions about the soft food stage, please let me know. The second tip that I want to talk about is about how we can use low-fat mayonnaises, low-fat gravies, and sauces to help moisten food up. So you may want to try food and you don't feel that it's quite soft enough, quite got enough moisture in, it could get stuck, it could be uncomfortable. We can use low-fat gravies and low-fat mayonnaises and sauces to help moisten that food up. And you'll find it's easier to chew well, it will go down better and settle better. So this is a really key one, as well as my tip 3, because we want to not get stuck on a certain number of foods in the soft food stage. And what can happen is that you say, okay, well, these are the foods that settle well. These are my foods. I just don't know how to actually increase variety and explore more options after and move forward and get a more varied diet. So people can get really stuck and really limited in their variety. I call it I think about it as the 2 to 4 month mark after surgery. Really hit a wall. Now what? How do I move forward? A tip is to use the low-fat gravies and sauces to help moisten some of the other foods that you would like to try to help ensure that they're going to be well tolerated for your tummy. Easy to chew, go down well, and settle well. And number 3 is to use lift. So in the soft food stage, it's really where we start really wanting to expand your diet and getting more variety in your diet. And I love lists because you can write a list of all the foods that are going down well and settling well. And 2, you can also write a list of all the foods that you'd like to try and you haven't tried yet. And you can also have a list of foods that haven't settled well, and you can park them and come back to them. And this is a very nice methodical way of helping you work through your diet and expanding your diet. And so it does link in with tip number 2, but it's all around getting variety and not getting stuck in a certain number of foods that settle well. How can I prepare a food a bit different, use some gravy, use some sauces, and try that food again, maybe 3 weeks later or a month later, and see if it settles well, okay? Anyone that's hopping on, I'd love to hear your thoughts or questions. I know this is a topic that is not for everyone. People that are further down the track after their weight loss surgery, this is not going to resonate as much with you. This topic is very much for those early to medium days. But also you can bring the idea of the lists in if you're thinking, I'm getting stuck with my food choices. What else is there? What other foods have I maybe forgotten about that I would like to try now I'm a little bit further down the track after my surgery? Also, I would love to hear if you have any questions. Now, with my lives, I'm very happy to answer other questions in the live. So it could be on another topic that's weight loss surgery, nutrition. It doesn't have to be exactly this one. So I'm going to recap the 3 tips I have for the soft food stage. And as I mentioned, this stage goes a lot longer than you may feel or may be told in those early days when you get your book from your bariatric centre. We want to ensure your fork can go nice and softly through the food. So you want to make sure you cook some of that food a bit further maybe than you did before surgery. And that's particularly vegetables, cooking them quite well. Number 2 is using low-fat gravies and mayonnaises to help soften foods, get more foods into your diet as you progress, and get foods into a nice texture that are going to go down and settle well. And number 3 is using lists to help you be really clear on what in your diet, what's going down well, what foods haven't you tried, and what foods are you parking for later. And I say parking, if you've tried a food, doesn't settle well, you can come back and try it later. So while I'm waiting for any questions, I wanted to share that I work with clients before surgery and any stage after surgery in my Bariatric Nutrition Bootcamp. I have 3 levels in my bootcamp. It is very well structured to allow for different needs of levels of support and levels of one-on-one education, and the different levels are developed for where people are in their bariatric journey. So I can work and support people even from before surgery, holding their hand, getting them ready, starting practicing those habits and lifestyle changes before surgery, being there every step of the way, and that giving them that extra support of working through those post-surgery dietary stages and starting to lay down the foundations. I call it the foundations for a really good reason. Those habits that we want to establish in the early days after your weight loss surgery are not only going to get you the best results from your surgery, but the same habits that are going to help you keep those results. Regular meals, getting that schedule going for yourself. For some people, that's easy. It falls into place. They're very scheduled people. Everyone's different, and their life supports it. Other people, it can be more challenging. Reaching your protein goals, reaching your fluid goals. So lovely, taking your time at this stage and making sure the food is softened. You don't have anything to lose except pounds. Beautiful. It is, yes, slow and steady, trying one new food at a time. And I'd like to also say on the topic of when it's about tolerating food, it's not just about the food. Whenever anyone says, well, I've tried this and I didn't tolerate it, always explore what else can there be that can mean that you're not tolerating that food. It can be too big a bites, not chewing well enough, eating too quickly. So sometimes it's not even the food. We want to really break down, is it the food or is it how it's been eaten? And it is slow and steady. And I say, when we were talking about progression after weight loss surgery, if you can go slow or if you can go fast and you had to choose one, too slow because your tummy is and your stomach is healing and recovering from surgery. It's swollen. It is going to take time, and it takes longer than you think for it to fully heal. So thank you so much for that, Joy. So lovely. So if you pre-surgery and thinking about it, or if you are post-surgery and you are struggling with anything to do with the early days, reaching your protein and fluid goals, getting those foundations in place, if your weight loss has slowed down and you're not confident, that you may feel that maybe something's happening that you're doing to slow your weight loss down, or if you are further down the track, old habits are coming back and weight regain, reach out. There is no pressure or obligation to know more about my program and my coaching. So if you would like to know more, please DM me or comment bootcamp, and I'll come back to you and share information. And yeah, we just see if I'm the right person for you. So thank you so much for your time today. And I hope you have a lovely evening, day, or afternoon, depending on your time zone. Because I know people jump on at all different time zones. So thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.